Hello, Swapnil. Swapnil. Uh, Hello, am I audible? Rajeshri madam. Hello. Ah, okay. Uh, Good morning, one and all. I, Sanjay Sawant, librarian of Sardar Patel College of Engineering, and on behalf of both organizing institute, extend a very welcome for the third and concluding day of TEQIP-supported 3-day virtual workshop on trending technologies in library and information science. Today we have two sessions with Dr. Sadanand Bansode and Dr. Francis Jayakant. For the first session, I would like to request Aditi Madam to introduce our first speaker. Aditi Madam, please.
Today's first session is the massive online open courses and the role of library is professionals. The open online courses are recent innovative addition to the online learning landscape and spreading rapidly in all disciplines, including library and information science profession. In the proliferations of these courses, these professionals have the opportunity to leverage this technology to improve their professionals. So before handing over the session, I will briefly introduce about Dr. Sadanand Bansode. He is presently working as a professor at the Department of Library and Information Science at Savitribai Phule Pune University, formerly University of Pune. He is in the teaching profession since 1999 and he has been teaching to the master's and MPhil courses in library and information science. He is also lecturing to students who are participating in the doctoral coursework. To his credit, he has about 50 articles published in national and international journals and has so far written 2 books. He has also completed 2 research projects which was funded by Savitri by Phule Pune University, and he has successfully guided 8 students for PhD and 2 students for MPhil, and currently 7 students are working for PhD. As a part of co-curricular activities, he has participated in over 60 conferences, seminars, workshops, and presented papers, and as a rapporteur general and had chaired sessions in various conferences. He is invited speaker for conferences in library and information science and delivered keynote address in number of conferences and seminars. He is frequent contributor to the refresher courses of library and information science all over the nation. He is also the member of he has been member of board of studies and various state and central universities, had served as a member of research and review committees. He is associated with design and implementation of the bachelor, master and MPhil courses of library science. He is contributing in the publication of various library science journals as member of editorial books. He is also very sought after speaker in the workshops focused on information technology. So, welcome Dr. Bansode sir. Hello.
Thank you, ma'am, for your sweet introduction. I think directly we can go towards the topic. I think let me share my screen with you people. Yeah, whether the screen is viewable to all of you?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah. It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, fine. So, very good morning to all of you. And
Dr. Bansode, please put it on slide mode. Slide mode.
Yeah, it is on the slide mode.
No, it's not coming here.
I think let's again.
Yes,
Now check.
F5. No, not
Exactly.
it.
On my screen, I'm getting it on a full screen. It is on the side mode only. Now see whether you are getting.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So very good morning to all of you. And at the outset, let me thanks to the organizers and the two librarians, Mr. Sawant and Mrs. Aditi, for inviting me as a resource person. So, as all of you are aware that today I'll be delivering the topic, MOOCs and the roles of LIS professionals. So, it's a talk of the day, how the MOOCs have been delivering the contents to the students and what type of roles they are performing. So, as far as this presentation is concerned, I think this is the agenda for today's talk. Hello. Yeah. So, particularly when it comes for the MOOC, actually, if you see the MOOC, it is mostly related towards the teaching.
Your voice isn't clear, sir.
Hello. So mostly MOOCs they are related with the teaching faculties and the teaching categories. But apart from that, I have particularly inserted the role of the librarian because even though we are talking that the MOOCs are mostly focused towards the teachers, but of course, the librarian to have an important role in promoting the MOOC. And what are the different roles that library professionals could perform that we will be seeing in this particular lecture. So before starting towards the MOOC, I would like to particularly I have added the historical part, some historical part, just to give proper connectivity to the MOOC. So let's move. As everyone of us knows that when it comes for the LIS education, it was first started with the Columbia University of the US in the 1887. And the credit goes to the Melville Dewey. And after almost 24 years, that is in the year 1911, the LIS education was started in Baroda with the efforts of W.A. Bobby. And later on, the education system for library science education started in the entire country. If you see the present scenario that means after the post-independence or till now, we can say that almost more than 120 universities in India they are engaged in imparting LIS education. And LIS education, the different levels, right? From the certificate courses to the PhDs. Traditionally, some of the universities, they are offering 2 years MLIS courses, or you can see that there are certain different type of courses that has been run in the various universities. Mostly you will find that the LIS courses have been offered in two modes. One is the truncated, that is offering 1 year BLS and 1 year MLS, and the other one with the 2 years syndicated. But the courses is offered in the two universities. Traditionally, in order to deliver this particular courses, we have been using the many modes. Maybe right, you have seen from the Blackboard to the overhead project, and right now the online learning. So these are the various changes that we can find in the LIS education. Mostly, till now, it was the chalk and talk preferred method that was used in the library science education. But now, with the advent of the technology and with the progress, with the development of the personal computers and with the online technology, now we are moving towards e-learning, or what we call as the online learning or the internet-based learning. So we can say that it is because of the technology that the present boon of ICT or the ICT in the present context, they have actually revolutionized the entire education system. They have become the backbone of the teaching and learning process. Or
Dr. Balsude?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry to disturb with that. PPT is not moving to the next slide. Only first slide is visible. Can
First
you?
slide?
Yeah. On the first slide only.
From my end, it is moving, sir.
Yeah. Now it is moving. You can go to the second one. When you click on that, then it will go to the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, could you see the
So it
shift
is
in the
moving.
teaching and learning?
Yeah. Now we are seeing shift in teaching and learning. Yeah.
It is moving towards the back.
Yeah, back, no, it will not go. You have to, unless you press on the slide, it is not, because it is not on the
Exactly.
slide mode. It is not on the slide mode. It is a normal mode. So I think there's some problem, but it's okay, fine. But you have to click on that particular slide number, then you
Just
see
a minute, just a minute. Again, I will.
Okay, sir. It's moving.
now, yeah, you just go ahead, but you go on clicking on the slide number, so it will go next.
So whether it is moving?
No, it is not moving. You shift on teaching and learning, it is because it's not coming on the slide mode. That's the problem.
అంటే ఏమన్నా
Yeah. You go on doing like that, then it will come. Okay.
Now?
Yeah, now it is coming. You have to click on the left side. You have to click on the particular slide what you are talking. Then it comes over here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So now it is fine.
Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was talking about the e-learning. So it is a technology only which has given us the concept of e-learning. Now, when we talk about the e-learning or when we talk about the internet, in a true sense, I will call it as a disruptive learning, or it is called as a disruptive technology. See, when it comes for the disruptive technology, why I'm calling e-learning as a disruptive technology, later on I will tell you. But first, let me clarify what is a disruptive technology. This theory of disruptive technology was proposed by Clayton Christensen in 2000. And according to her theory, she was focusing, Clayton was focusing on why mainstream or well-established or well-managed and successful firm fails when newcomers selling inferior but more modern and scalable technology enters the market. See, more scalable technology enters into the market. That is very much important. See, I will give you a few examples. Till yesterday, we were talking about the printed books and printed journals. Even, in fact, the libraries, they were procuring all these things. But now, this technology, this media, or the printed books and printed journals, that has been replaced by the online, by electronic books and electronic journals. So that is the disruptive. The well-established media has been replaced by the scalable one. In the same way, when it comes for the e-learning, previously we used to have a chalk and board. We used to teach on the blackboard. We used to have a face-to-face interaction. But now all this face-to-face interaction has gone. We are no more in a classroom mode. We are in the online mode, and for that we are using the n number of technologies. It could be the Web 2.0, or it could be OER, it could be cloud, or it could be MOOC and other things. But this has come out as more scalable technology, and that is why particularly this e-learning, it falls into the domain of disruptive technology. So when it comes for this disruptive technologies, we know very well that when it comes for the e-learning, it is nothing but, or the online learning, it is nothing but using the technology. And if you want to put, if at all you want to put it into the into the simple word, it could be called as learning that is enabled or supported by the use of digital tools and contents. Morely, we are focused here on the digital tools and the contents so as to deliver the contents. And it typically involves some form of interactivity. Now, this interactivity, it is only possible only in an online form. The learner as well as the teachers, they have to interact with one another using the online platform. So you can say that the net or the network is the backbone. And that is why it is being sometimes called as online learning also. But if you see this online, it has been supported with various characteristics, and that is very interesting. It is true that they are being supposed to be the learner-centric learner-centric. That means it is been focused. The approach is revolving around the learners. It is flexible, yes. Depending on the time and space, the learner can learn the contents. Whenever he is having some time, he can go through the contents. So it is not like that you have a fixed timetable as we are having in our traditional classroom. But yes, as and when the learner will get time, he will go through the contents, and accordingly he will learn the things. Third one, customized and personalized content. Yes, absolutely right. The contents of the online or the online contents, they can be customized depending on the need of the users, the need of the students, or whatever the group or the group of learners they require. Accordingly, they could be customized. And interactive learning is also there. The students do have interaction with the teachers. It is very much criticized that, or sometimes there might be a question with the users that how one could have an interaction when it comes to the online mode. So when it comes for the online, there is interactivity, and the learner can have 24/7 interaction among the with the teachers as well as with his peer group, and the contents could be changed automatically. Depending on the feedbacks given by the users, the contents could be enriched, the contents could be repacked, or it could be reoriented based on the inputs given by the users, based on their experiences, based on the practices. So that could be done over here. Now, there are a few reasons why we are using the technology. One thing is the higher retention rate. It has been believed that when it comes for the online teaching or e-learning, there is more retention rate as compared to traditional teaching or traditional classroom teaching. I think everyone must have gone through the advertisement given by the Byju's, which is almost, we say every day Shah Rukh Khan on the advertisement and promoting the electronic contents or e-learning with the Byju's. So it is believed that there is high retention of the students. Now, whether there is higher retention of the students later on in the latter part of the PPT, we will see with few examples. But yes, there could be greater collaboration, and also the students have global opportunity. That means students can take up the course. He can learn the contents which has been disseminated or which has been given from each and every corner of the world. And already in a few slides, already I've shown you about the various e-learning modes, which includes mobile technology or cloud or MOOCs and OER. Now, we will focus only on MOOC. See, if you will see the report of the Horizon, which has been published by Educase, it could be the report of the 2019, or maybe the reports which have been published before 2019. It could be of 15, 16, 17, 18, or any till recent also. You'll find that this Horizon, they have focused on the upcoming technology, and they clearly stated that MOOC could be one of the way for delivering the educational content to the students. Now, this is more important, that when it comes for the Horizon report, actually this Horizon, they predict what kind of technology could be used or what kind of higher education could be delivered in the future. And the trend discussed in the reports are social, economic, then it could be political as well as higher education. And we are more concerned of the higher education, and in this report, they have particularly stated that the 6 emerging technologies could have an impact on the higher education. And they have stated that MOOC could be one of them. And we have witnessed that in this pandemic situation where the world was about to shut down all the education system, it was the MOOC which has come out as one of the solution to disseminate the education or to give out the education to the learners. Right? Even though before that also it was MOOC only, but now because of this pandemic situation, we have been experiencing it like anything. So what exactly does this MOOC stands for? We all know that MOOC is nothing but it's a massive open online courses. Yesterday, I think Dr. Puja sir, he was delivering his lecture on open educational resources, and that he has given a little bit overview of the MOOC. What does the MOOC stands for? Actually, when we look upon this MOOC, it is the term which is coined by Stephen Dawes and George Seaman in the year 2008. Actually, the term was coined in the 2008, but gained the popularity in the year 2012, when the MOOC was, the term MOOC was called as Year of the MOOC by the New York Times. So it is because of this only the MOOC after 2012, the MOOC was adopted by many of the institutions, and till now it is gaining more popularity. So when we look upon the MOOC, it is nothing but it's online courses which have been aimed at a large scale participation, and it's open to all. It doesn't require any pre-qualification or something else. But it is true that for some of the technical courses, it could be from the computer science, or it could be from at the higher end, some basic knowledge has been required. But yes, when it comes for the fees and all these things, many of the courses or most of the courses, they are free of cost. And some of the courses, they are charging it minimal, but that is for the certificates. If at all you would like to have a certificate, if at all you would like to transfer the credits, in that cases, they are being charged. They are being charged. So here are some of the characteristics of the MOOC. It's a massive, that means n number of students can attend the course. Anyone can participate, so it is called the open, completely free. Anyone can access. Whomsoever having internet connectivity, the internet connectivity is the main, what do you call it? It is the main requirement or the basic requirement for the MOOC, that one should have the net connectivity. Unless until you don't have the net connectivity, you cannot join the MOOC. Of course, it is interactive. Remixing of the content is can be made at any point of time, and sharing and collaboration. Now, when it comes for the MOOC, you can have there are a number of platforms which are available over here. I've tried to highlight some of the main platforms through which the MOOC courses have been delivered. The major platform includes Coursera, edX, Udacity, FutureLearn, and Khan's Academy. And these are some of the important platforms through which you can deliver your MOOC courses. Actually, this Coursera was founded in the year 2012, and still it is there as one of the most important. Whereas the edX and Udacard, these are the two platforms, I think, that have been developed by the Indians. The edX is developed by, it was initiated by Mr. Anant Agrawal in the year 2011. Whereas Educard was founded by Ishan Gupta and Mayan Gupta in the year 2011. So these are some of the platforms through which the MOOC could be delivered. Of course, there are certain MOOCs in the LIC area also. In the MOOC course, the first course was launched in the year 2013 with a new librarianship, and it was delivered by the School of Information Studies by Cyprus University. Then during the fall of 2013, a course on metadata was given through the Coursera platform, and it was offered by Jeffrey. Then apart from this, there are n number of courses till now, till 2019, 2020, many of the courses were given in the LIS field using the various platforms, maybe in the Coursera, maybe on the EDX, maybe on the Khan or FutureLearn. But here I've tried to highlight some of the important, such as the Hyperlink Library, which was again held on, or which was given in the year 2013. In the same way, the Library Advocacy Unshared, it was for the 2 times it was run in the year 2014 and 2015 using the EDX platform. Copyright for Educators and Librarians, this was the course which was run by the Duke University, which was highlighting the US copyrights, the framework of the copyright, the copyright, how the librarians and the teachers could deal with the US copyright. This was all taught in the in this particular course. And the emerging future, which was again developed by the St. Joseph State University School of Information in the year 2014. It deals with the skills and the current trends in the libraries. So I think these were some of the courses that were run by the, these were the most popular courses one could find in the LIS domain. But yes, after 2012, one could find that the courses, not only in LIS, but in the other domain also, they have been growing. There is a growth, higher growth in the MOOC courses. See, in the year 2000, if you see the curve, if you see the figure over here, you will find that at the initial years, it could be around 2012 to 2015, there was slight growth. But after 2016, there is a higher growth you may find in this particular graph. And this has been proved with this particular study, which has been carried out by Mithu Day. Here in 2019, he has published this particular graph, saying that there is higher growth in the courses of MOOC courses. In the same way, when it comes for the learners also, you will find that right now, the Coursera, they are having nearly 37 million learners, with EDX more than 18 million. So if you see the number of courses, number of students that have been enrolled, you will find that they are more than any of the university. You compare to any of the university in India, you will find that they are far, far, far more than what it is there. See, I've just given the statistics of last 4 years over here. In 2017, the courses were just 9.4Ks, which was increased to 11.4 in 2018. And in 19, again, it was 13.5. And now in the year 2000, where we are having the pandemic, or we can say that, that all the education institutions that have been closed down because of this COVID-19, the rate is being increased to 16.3K. So this indicates that since last 5 to 6 years, there is more growth in the number of courses. Simultaneously, it is applicable to the number of students also. In 2017, it was 78 million students that were enrolled for the various courses, and the statistics is given by Class Center. Yesterday, Puja sir has given you the overview of the Class Center, what kind of website it is, or what kind of search engine it is, or what kind of statistics does it maintain. So it was 78 million in the year 2017. In the year 2018, it went to 101. And recently, it has been 180 million. So 180 million students, they are taking education through MOOC courses. They are trying to upgrade their skills through these MOOC courses. I think this is the big achievement for the MOOC courses. The number of students that has been enrolled. I don't think that any of the regular university in the world is having that much of students enrolled in the campus. You take any of the university, hardly, when it comes for the Indian universities, it could be a state university or central university, hardly you may have students up to 10,000 or between less than 10,000. But here you are having 180 million students. Now, what is the situation in India? It is also important to see now whatever Coursera platform we have seen, whatever EDX, whatever Udacity or Khan or Future Learn, all this were the platforms that were developed by the European countries or by the Western countries. But yes, when it comes for the India, we could see MOOCit, then IITBX and SWAYAM. MOOCit, it is developed by the IIT Kanpur in the year 2013. And this MOOCit, it was developed when they were trying to run the course that is called TEQIP. I think the same course, the same workshop we are having right now. And from such kind of workshop only, the need was felt to develop a platform through which they could deliver contents to thousands and lakhs and crores of learners. And through this necessity, the MOOCit was developed. Actually, this MOOCit is an open source MOOC management software which has been developed by IIT Kanpur. And right now, more than 60 online courses have been running with this MOOCit. And it has been having more than 2 lakhs of learners from 90 countries all around the world. So that is a great achievement for this IIT Kanpur having the MOOCit platform. On the same thing, this IIT Bombay, they have developed IIT Bombay X, which has been abbreviated as IITBX. Again, it's an online platform which has been developed by IIT Bombay. But the more interesting or the more important for the Indians is the SWAYAM platform, which has been initiated by the Ministry of HRD, Government of India. It's called SWAYAM. That is study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. Now this SWAYAM, it has been asking all the universities in India to contribute on this particular platform. They are trying to develop the contents. They have been asking the universities to come and upload and develop the contents and upload it for the users. If you go through the SWAYAM, if you go through the contents, if you go through the courses, you will find that nowadays, apart from the courses in LIS and other subjects, the refresher courses, you may find the refresher courses over here. Now, the online refresher course is delivered using the SWAYAM platform. And many of the institutions, they are trying to give up this LIS refresher course in the LIS also. So, you can say this, now this SWAYAM has come out as one of the most important platforms for giving up the MOOCs in India. And let me give you some of the facts of the MOOC. See, as far as the SWAYAM is concerned, as we have treated as it is one of the most important platforms for MOOC in India, this SWAYAM has 9 coordinators.
Dr. Bansode, sorry to disturb you again. The slides again not moving. You have to click on those slides. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here you may find that it is having 9 coordinators, the national coordinators. And these 9 coordinators are AICT, CEC, IGNOU, IMB, NCRT, NIOS, NITTR, NPTEL, and UGC. Each one of them, they are having their own roles to perform. Say, for example, when it comes for the AICT, they are being for self-paced and international courses. When it comes for the NPTEL, they are only looking towards the courses from the engineering. In the same way, UGC is for non-technical or for the post-graduation educations. In the same way, each and every one, they have their different rules, different domains for covering the subjects. But they have ensured that all these 9 national coordinators, they have covered the entire domain of the knowledge. Whatever courses that has been run under the various umbrellas, it could be under the AICT, it could be from the school education, from the undergraduate, from the postgraduate, from the management. All this are being covered by these national coordinates. For example, this IMB, that is Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, they are looking for the management studies. So in this way, they have tried to cover the all domain. But even though we are talking about the 9 coordinators and the extension of the MOOC courses to the entire country or beyond the country, but there are certain questions which needs to be focused over here. See, if you'll be going toward these figures, you will find that more than 1 crore 61 lakh students were enrolled for this SWAYAM courses. Out of that, more than 1 crore 23 lakhs, or sorry, it is 12 lakhs and 34,000 students that were enrolled just for examinations. But again, when it comes for the actual successful students, you will find that hardly it is 6 lakhs 66. So if you correlate the number of students that's been enrolled for a course, total number of students, and the total number of students which have been got successful, you'll find that hardly the successful rate is up to 5%. Successful rate is up to 5%. So that is the worrying factor when it comes for the MOOC courses. Not only that, but what are the examples we have seen in the LIS courses? It could be the metadata course, or it could be the new librarianship. When it comes for the new librarianship, hardly 2,405 students were enrolled. And out of that 2,405 students, only 232 students could successfully complete this course. So again, if you will see the ratio, it is coming below 10. It might be below 5 also. Same is the case with the metadata. If you go through the statistics, you may find that more than 27,000 that were enrolled for this particular course. But the successful rate or the completion rate was hardly 5%. So the rate of completion of the course is the major issue for this particular MOOC courses. At least you may see the statistics given on the SWAYAM. But even though the MOOC is facing the more dropout rate and all these things, but it is the UGC who is actually promoting the MOOC courses in India. The UGC is trying to market the MOOC like anything. They are inviting the applications from the various stakeholders from the universities, and they have been asking to submit the proposals. And for that, they are giving heavy funding for the development of the MOOCs. Only the condition is that when any of the faculty or any of the institute, they want to develop the MOOC, they should be developed in the 4 quadrants. Now, when it comes for the 4 quadrants, it means containing the e-tutorials, e-contents, then having the discussion forums and the assessment. These are the 4 quadrants, out of which the first e-tutorials, it contains the audios and videos which have been organized in a proper form. They might be having some animations, some demonstrations. When it comes for the e-content, that is in the 2nd quadrant, that is the self-instructional materials, or might be the e-books which needs to be given to the students, the case studies or the presentations, the research papers, the journals, all this that needs to be given. And the quadrant 3, that already I've told you that when it comes for the online learning, there is more scope for the discussion. There is more scope for the interaction. And that is what it is expected in the quadrant 3, that is the discussion forum. So whenever the students or the learners, they have any doubts, if they want to raise their doubts, it is related with the quadrant 3. And more importantly, it is quadrant 4, where the actual assessment of the students takes place. It could be in the form of some quiz, it could be in the form of some MCQs, it could be in the form of some assignments, or maybe the discussion about the discussion forums and all these things. So it is the quadrant 4. So it is the UGC which is giving heavy funding for the development of the courses. Second initiative that has been taken by the UGC is giving out the 20% credits to the students. They have come out with a gazette copy stating that if a student would like to earn credits from the SWAYAM, they can easily gain they can earn the credits, because already we are following the choice-based credit system into the education system. And when it comes for the choice-based, the student have the choice, they have full right to make their own choice as far as the earning of credits is concerned. And in 2016, the UGC has clearly announced that the student can earn 20% of the credits from the SWAYAM. And now it is mandated for the colleges and the universities to give due weightage to these credits if the student has earned. And immediately, the moment UGC has come out with a gazette copy, AICTE too have acknowledged the same thing. They do have come out with a circular saying that, okay, they can also allow the students with the 20%. See, there is a common correlation between UGC and AICTE. The moment UGC will bring some circular, it is immediately adopted by the AICTE also. Now, during this pandemic situation, the UGC has increased the limit from the 20% to 40%. And I'm quite sure that once the UGC has raised this limit, it could be the AICTE also who will follow the same thing. Now, there are certain certain courses which could be interested to the LS professionals. There are a number of courses which has been come out in the domain of communication or the computer technology. And these courses have been delivered using various platforms. It could be the EDX, SWAYAM, or Udemy. And this could be helpful for LS professionals as a continuing education program. They can take up the various programs which could be useful for them in imparting, or which could be helpful for them in imparting various services to the users, or to upgrade their skills, or to learn certain new things from various domains. So in this way, they could find various courses. Now, it is true that one can have the courses through by using various platforms, but it is also important to see that where one can find these courses. You cannot go for each and every platform searching for the course. But yes, there are certain search engines, certain websites which could give you the statistics of the courses. For example, this Class Central. Here you will get the listing of all the courses that has been there. This Class Central is a search engine, as already yesterday Priya sir has highlighted you about this Class Central. It is a search engine and reviews site for free online courses. Then this is a MOOC list. This is another. It is an aggregator of massive open online courses. You can just put any of the key term in the search box and you will find the listing of the courses from all the platforms. Even you will find some of the courses from SWAYAM also. So, coming towards what kind of opportunities we are having. See, mostly we are the opportunities that we are having is the flipped classroom. We can have flipped classroom over here. Now, this flipped classroom, it is different from your traditional classroom. In a traditional classroom, we used to give some lectures. We used to deliver some lectures, and accordingly, after the lecture, we used to give some class homework. That we expect that the student, after going home, he may revise certain things. He may prepare certain assignments based on the classroom teaching. In a flipped classroom, it is totally different. The student is being provided with the resources, and it is expected that the student will go through the resources, he will learn the contents, and if any he is having any doubts and all these things, he will ask that particular doubts in the classroom. Now, when it comes for this flipped classroom, the LI schools may adopt MOOC courses by different schools in a flipped classroom environment. They may assign the contents to the students, and if at all anything is required, any clarification is required, it could be discussed with the teachers. So in that way, this teachers, they could use their precious time for some other fruitful activities. Of course, the students, they have the opportunity to access oceans of knowledge. When it comes for your classroom teaching, hardly you are having 4, 5 or 10, 15 faculties. But here you can interact with n number of experts. The MOOC has facilitated the students to gain access to the contents which have been developed and delivered by the topmost faculties of the world. Or you can say, well, the experts in the subject, else which is not possible for any of the students to interact with these teachers, to hear the teachers, the experts in his regular or traditional teaching. But this opportunity he could get when it comes for the MOOC. Yes, they are having the opportunity of being flexibility and liberty. The student gets the liberty to access the contents many times. He can access the contents according to his own convenience, and not only once, but maybe thousands times. So he has that much of flexibility. And whenever he is free, or whenever he wish, he can go through the contents. The reading of he can refer the reading material according to his convenience. So that is what the liberty and flexibility is. And moreover, the opportunity for the teachers. See, already I have told you in the flipped classroom that the teacher could get more time. Here, with this opportunity, the student is expected that the teachers may get more time to focus on the research or to focus on the various activities, as well as to reach each and every learner that is being enrolled in his MOOC class. Not only that, but he could have collaboration with the other teachers also for developing the MOOCs. But when we talk about certain opportunities, naturally we could face some of the challenges also. The most important challenge that has been faced today is the students, or by the student, is the technology. Already we have talked about the dropout rate that is related with the student, but yes, the technology could be another problem. Particularly when we talk about the India, we have seen in this pandemic situation, we all are experiencing the low bandwidth or the complaints of the students regarding the bandwidth. In the remote area, particularly in the villages and all these things, we may really face this particular problem of connectivity. Many of the students, they don't have that particular technology where they could access the contents of the MOOC. So that is the main issue. Language, even though if we say that the SWAYAM is being developed in the SWAYAM is developed, or it is mostly towards it is mostly focusing the Indian students, but again, language is the main issue. In many of the states, the education is being imparted in the bilingual language. But here, when it comes for the courses on the SWAYAM, you will find that mostly it is in the English language. Of course, there are some efforts that is going on where the courses is being trying to convert it into the bilingual language. But yes, right now, if you see, it could be seen as one of the challenge. It is, if you see the statistics of the SWAYAM and all these things, it is failing to provide personal attention. Even though we say that it is the online education, or it is a e-learning, which could be where we can have high retention of the students, where we could give the more personal attention. But yes, when we are having thousands and lakhs of students enrolled in the course, it is very difficult. Practically, it is difficult to pay personal attention to each and every student. And some of the literature that has been published, it also tells the same thing. Now, it is free versus paid. Now, here we will take this challenge in the Indian context. Here we will take it into the Indian context. If you see the fees of various courses, particularly I will give one example that the course was launched by IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay somewhere in the year 2018, and the fees for that particular course was more than 1,800 rupees. I think the course was entitled as Foundation Program in ICT for Education. Now, if a student is paying more than 18,000 just to attend this course, you just imagine how much fees he will have to pay if at all he would like to convert that particular course into the credits. The same contents, if you go to the regular university courses, hardly he will be able to complete that particular course with less fees. I think in the most of the government universities where the government recognized courses are there, hardly 1,800 rupees is the yearly fees, annual fees, where he is earning at least 32 credits in a year. At least 32 credits. So right now, when we are in the initial stage, we are having 1,800 fees, but don't know what will be the future. Maybe the coordinator or the developer, he may charge more fees than what it has been there. Also, there is fear for the faculties as far as the government is concerned. We all are witnessing that the policies of the government is changing. Mostly, when it comes for this MOOC, it was developed by the open universities to deliver the contents, in which were meant for making the profits. Now, it is fair from the faculties that, okay, the government may use it as an instrument. They may use it as an instrument. That means if they will be having a sufficient number of MOOCs on a particular subject, they may ask the faculties to leave the job. They may say goodbye. Now, no more your services has been required. Instead of having 10, 20 faculties in a particular college, hardly 2 faculties can run the show. So, losing the job is another fear in the mind of the faculties. And lastly, you need to draw a line for the content. If you'll be assessing the contents of the MOOC, particularly on the SWAYAM, you will find that the courses that has been developed, they are fully based on the syllabus. So, if at all you are going with the syllabus, then naturally the question arises that what is the difference between the MOOC courses and the courses that has been taught in the universities and the colleges? Same contents would be there. See, the MOOC should act as a supporting instrument. This should not act as a replacement for a particular course. The core courses that has been taught in the classroom, that should be taught in the classroom only, whereas if anything extra skills or the topics that have been not covered in the syllabus, due attention may be given to such courses. And that courses may be brought in the form of MOOCs. So there should be a bifurcation among the traditional courses and the courses or the contents that has been delivered through MOOCs. Now, what kind of role we are having as a library professionals. We can act, or the library professional can act as a supporter. The library professional can play a supportive role for encouraging MOOCs, because it is the library professionals who could provide wide variety of library resources. Library resources. Not only library resources, but the services to the MOOC or the MOOC providers. They can state the developers that who could be the best person with whom he can have his collaboration for developing the contents, because he is aware of the various experts in the various subjects. So he could be seen in the form of advisor. Information resources. Now this is the most important area where the library professionals can help the developers. The libraries act as a pivotal point of wide range of information, vast subject areas. They can help the teaching community in collecting and consolidating information on various subject areas for developing the courses on the MOOC. They can provide the authentic information resources. It is a librarian only who can tell, who is the authentic person to tell about the material having the copyright or the material who are not having the copyrights. Even though if some copyrighted material is being used, what kind of justification could be made? I think this could be taught by the library professionals only. So in this way, you can help the MOOC developers in clearing the copyright material. Not only that, but on a campus, you can help your students in setting the appropriate MOOC courses. You can go through the contents, you can go through the syllabus of a particular course. And based on the syllabus, based on the contents, you can appropriately suggest the students for various courses. It is true that now many of the universities and many of the colleges, they are developing their MOOC. And the students from every corner of the world, they are enrolling for that. So naturally, the moment the other students, they enroll for your MOOC courses, they becomes a part and parcel of your institute. So you can extend your services, your library resources to such students through the easy proxy. Yesterday, I think Mr. Reddy has covered what is easy proxy and how it could be used. So I think there is no need to highlight again. It is the LIS professionals who could teach the students how to take up the MOOC courses, how to use the technology. Because it is very essential that the student should know how to use the technology. Even though we say that the new generation is more techno-savvy, but still, there needs to be taught properly how to use this technology. And as a library professional, you can take this opportunity, you can use this as one of the tools to sustain yourself into the market. And providing internet access to the courses. Now, you must be surprised that why I've included this as a role for accessing, in the library professional. Because when it comes to the MOOC, the internet is one of the backbone. And it is expected that every student should have access to the net. But yes, in the remote areas, it is very difficult for the students to have internet access. At such places, the library professionals, they can come forward, they can provide the internet access to the students who are actually in need. Maybe it could be the public library who could come forward. They could arrange some desktops for some computers for the students just to access some courses. They can provide this kind of services to the users. And moreover, they could develop some of the courses. There are certain areas where only the librarians or the library professionals they can prove themselves. The area such as plagiarism. You must have seen the various articles which have been published by your faculties. And you know very well that when it comes for the articles, when it comes for the thesis and all these things, what kind of citations is being used. The faculties or the research students, they fail to give proper citation or full citation. So it is the librarians who can teach them, who can educate the users about the plagiarism. Not only that, but with the mandate of the UGC, what kind of journals could be used for publications. Now, these are some of the areas or the reference management or the copyright. All this could be used by the librarians to develop the MOOC. For the MOOC. And as already I've told you that when it comes for the MOOC courses, the philosophy, as far as philosophy is concerned, it should be a value-added contents. It should contain the value-added, not the replica of the existing syllabus. It should act as a supplementary. It should try to upgrade the skills of the students or maybe the professionals. But it should be adding certain extra value. Lastly, to conclude, I can only say that MOOC, they are getting popular day by day. Of course, there might be some challenges, there might be some lacunas, but yes, with the help of the technology, the contents have been delivered to the professionals. And also there is a fear that the librarians, if the entire education system goes online, actually there is fear for the faculties only regarding losing their jobs. So what might be the status of the librarian? But yes, if the librarian try to develop the MOOC in the various areas, if they come out with the various services, I think they have full chance to stand firmly in the profession. So with this, I end up my presentation. Thank you. Thank you all of you for hearing the presentation carefully. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As requested, there is one question we have. So that is, I'll read out the question, sir. Can you explain once again? Can you explain once again flip classroom and show 21st slide having list of MOOCs in LIS?
List of MOOCs in LIS. Okay, fine.
Yeah. And what is the flip classroom?
Okay, fine. Just a minute. Just a minute. I will reopen my slide.
Okay, sir.
Actually, I've closed the slide. Just a minute.
It is 21st slide.
I think someone said, can you enroll me as a presenter? Please.
Sorry, sir.
I think I've logged out as a presenter. So maybe if you enroll me as a presenter, I will be able to show you the slide.
Okay. Swapnil, hello. Swapnil. Just a minute, sir.
Okay, I will explain what is the flipped classroom. See,
okay, that will be done. That will do, sir. That will do.
When it comes to the flipped classroom, it is expected that the student is being provided with all the resources. And the student will go through the resources, he will learn the concept. And if at all he is having any of the class and the doubts, he will again come to the classroom and it will be clarified by the faculties.
Oh, okay, sir. Uh, is there any questions from the participants? Any questions, please?
All right.
No. Okay, fine. Sir, MOOCs teaching is a need of the hour.
Sir, I'm not
MOOCs,
getting your voice, it's breaking.
okay. I think there is no any questions now.
Okay.
Uh, Now I'll complete. MOOCs courses are the need of the hours. MOOCs courses are need of the hours in the present era, which shows that 180 millions are taking education through MOOCs courses, as Sir told us. Although we would like to increase the successful rate of the MOOCs course in LIS field. Sir has shown us what are the opportunities and challenges in the MOOCs courses and also role of the library science students or faculties or fraternities for upgrading or maintaining importance of the MOOCs courses. Now, with this, I would like to express sincere thanks to Dr. Sadanand Bansode for MOOCs online training, which was really more informative. Thank you once more, sir, for inviting and accepting our invitations to deliver your expert talk. Thank you, sir. Uh, Rajashree, madam, over to you.
Our next session is on Folio. Folio is the project. It's a community collaboration of libraries, vendors, and developers coming together to build open source library service platform. So for this, we have Mr. Francis Jaikan to deliver the sessions. So before handing over the session, I will briefly introduce about him. Mr. Francis Jaikan is a PhD from Department of Library and Information Science, Bangalore University, MLS from University of Madras, and BSc from Bangalore University. He is presently working at the JRD Tata Memorial Library, IISc Bengaluru, as a scientific officer. Areas of his work interest include open access proponent and practitioner, digital libraries, interoperability, standards and implementation, content management systems, copyright compliance, cloud computing infrastructure, e-resources lifecycle management, IISc Office of Data Management. He was a visiting Fulbright Professional Fellow at the Old Dominion University, Norfolk, Virginia, USA during 2014 and 15. He is a recipient of the inaugural International Award for Promoting and Practicing Open Access in the Developing Countries, instituted by the Electronic Publishing Trust UK. He is a founder trustee of NCSI Net Foundation, a registered trust comprising of the erstwhile NCSI staff and alumni. He is the ex-honorary vice president of KALA also. So we welcome you, Mr. Francis Jaikan, and over to you, sir. Hello? Hello? I think there
Ah,
is.
Francis, sir. Francis, sir, you can start.
ನೀವು ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರತವಾಗಿದೆ.
I think there is a connectivity issue, so we will contact him and he will be joined soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to contact him.
No, no, Mr. Sawant, I think you have to unmute
Yes,
his audio and video. So he is unable to.
So we will wait for a few minutes to join him.
You lost your network connection. Dr. Francis?
So Mr. Francis is logging out and logging once again. I think there is some technical issue. He was talking, but his voice was not audible. So he will be joining soon.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, Dr. Francis. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the glitches, and very good morning. Let me. Very good morning to all the organizers and participants. And at the outset, I would like to thank the organizing committee, Dr. Sawant and Dr. Pujar for giving me an opportunity to share my experience, limited experience on what I know about folio. Is my audio clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So now I have to share my. Is my PPT visible?
No, it has not.
No, sir.
You have to share it. You have to share it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because unfortunately I have not used Google Meet anytime before, so please help me to share my this thing. How do I do that?
On the right side, there is a present now. So if you click on that, yeah.
Your entire screen.
Yeah, you can entire screen, then you choose the window, particular window.
Okay.
Or you can choose the particular window also.
Is it visible now?
No, not yet, not yet.
Okay.
I think you share the particular window that whatever PPT presentation is.
How about now?
No, not yet. Hi, it's coming. It's coming now.
Okay.
So please put it on the slide mode.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, it is come.
Okay.
Great.
So sorry once again for the technical glitches. Yeah. Okay. So to start with, just a disclaimer to tell all the audience that I'm in no way an expert on folio. Neither have used it nor have extensive knowledge on folio. So whatever I'm going to present, whatever I'm going to talk about is based on a couple of readings of the articles that I have done. So I'm just sharing my experience on that. So that I would like to make it clear. Okay, my presentation plan is as follows. So I'll give a brief introduction. And we need to talk about integrated library system, which we are all very familiar with, because this is ILS is evolution of integrated library system. So we'll touch upon integrated library system, and we'll see what are all the limitations of the ILS and why the concept of the library services platform has evolved. So why library services platform? And there are many software tools which are being developed both in the commercial domain as well as in the open source domain. Perhaps Folio is one of the first or one of the earliest library services platform uh, which is being developed in the open source domain. There are already a few other commercial software which are based on library services platform technology. Okay, so we'll see the functional characteristics of library services platform and how Folio is changing the traditional system of integrated library system, and a few library services platform vendors and products, and the reference based on which I'm making this presentation. Okay. Now, historically, the libraries as an institution, okay, and the purpose for which the libraries have existed and are existing, it has been more or less quite constant. Now, libraries develop collection basically to cater to the needs of the communities they serve. Now, the collections that the libraries develop, okay, they comprise of materials, and the type of materials, the format in which the materials are available, the format in which the materials are made available, and the way the materials are stored, organized, and retrieved. Okay, they have been evolving with every era of publishing and content distribution. Now, yeah, and also libraries have always been in the forefront of applying tools and technologies that have existed in the era, and they have very successfully used all the emerging tools and technologies to provide services based on the collections they develop. Okay. So most of us, or if not all of us, are very familiar with the integrated library automation tools that are being used predominantly by most of the libraries, irrespective of the type of libraries or the size of the libraries. But of late, the librarians and the library professionals are rethinking about the effectiveness of the library automation tools for providing library services. Now we know library services. Now we use library automation tool to provide library services within the library and also to our user community outside the library. Now, within the library, the core component that is driving the library services has been the integrated library system. Okay, and as with any other library system or any other software system, the integrated library system has been evolving with the change that is happening, especially in the IT domain. Okay, so the next generation of these systems are referred to as the library services platform. The term library services platform was coined by a very well-known library technologist by name Marshall Breeding. I'm sure most of you have heard about Marshall Breeding. This term was coined, I think, sometime in 2011 or so. Okay, so just let's briefly understand what integrated library system is and what are its limitations and why there has been a need. I wouldn't say it's a need because it's an evolution based on the need that has been expressed by the library, felt by the library community. Okay. Now, an integrated library system is typically a enterprise resource planning system for a library. Okay, so it's an ERP for a library. Now, ERP is used for different purposes. Okay, so the ERP that the library community uses is the library management system or the integrated library management system, and we all know that the LMS. Both in the commercial domain and also in the open source domain, there are a number of software products available. Okay. Now, the library management system typically helps a library to track what items a library owns, what items are on order, and what items have already been received, what items are in the process of processing, what items for which the bills have already been settled, and who are all the patrons of a library, and then the history of the patrons with respect of their borrowings, returns, and all that. So all this, the library management system helps us to keep track of. Now, typically, a library management system, there will be two components. In the backend, there is a database, a relational database, which stores all the content about the items that a library owns. And then there is a software interface, okay, which is used to interact with the backend database. And the software interface itself has two components. One component used by the library staff, essentially to provide library services, and the second interface used by the external world, typically to access the online catalog. Okay? So you have a backend database which holds all the database, and then in the front end there are two components of the software interface, one used by the library staff and one used predominantly by the external world or the library patrons. Okay. Now, the library management software will have various functions, and they are broken into discrete programs called as the modules, and each of them are integrated with a unified interface. So that's why it's called as a system. Now, example modules of a library management system will include the acquisition module, the cataloging module, the circulation module, the serials module, and of course, the online public access module. The term library services platform describes a type of library resource management system with a set of characteristics that differs substantially from long-standing genre of integrated library system. Now, we all know what an integrated library system and what are all the different modules that an integrated library system comprises of. Okay. So as I said in the beginning, so as with any other information system or any integrated system, the evolution keeps happening with the changes that emerge in the IT. Okay. So the next generation of the integrated library system is referred to as the library services platform, but its characteristics, the characteristics of the library services platform differ substantially as compared to the understanding that we have about the library management system. Now, the integrated library system or the library management system, okay, which is being predominantly used by most of the libraries, and most of the libraries are very well versed with what a library management system is. Okay. Now, as we know, the library management system has been in use for almost 4 to 5 decades now. Now, in the early 70s, when the mainframe computers were being developed, or when the mainframe computers were being used extensively in the scientific and academic world, libraries were one of the earliest to make use of the mainframe computers to develop the library automation, the main thing that the libraries handled. Okay, so all the development and all the evolution that have happened with the library management system with print content in mind. Okay, but all those things have changed with the emergence and with the dependence of libraries depending on the electronic resources. Now, electronic resources have its own characteristics, okay, now which are totally compared to the print resources. Now, with the emergence of electronic resources, several new services is concerned is the online catalog system. Okay, when new services started emerging, or which became possible with content migrating from print to electronic, and with new type of applications being developed, now those kind of applications could not be integrated into the library management system. So therefore, the libraries had to individually procure additional software tools over and above the library management system to facilitate their end users to take advantage of the content which is in electronic format. So link resolver is one such example. Okay, now link resolvers themselves. So link resolver, as I said, okay, it's a software application. And then how does a link resolver give a link or makes it known to the end user that when you follow a particular link, you are sure to get access to the full text. Now, it relies on what is called as the knowledge base of electronic resources. Okay, so now if you visit any publisher's platform, it could be any of the major publishers, for example Elsevier or IEEE. Now, all these major publishers, they make available what is known as the KBART file, KBART file. Okay. Now, KBART expands to knowledge base and related technology. Now, when you can, as an administrator of a platform, okay, so you are entitled to download the KBART file. Now, what the KBART file helps us in a way that it tells us what are the holdings of your library, what the holdings of your library is. So it tells us what journals that your library has access to, and then from which year, from which volume to which volume that your library is entitled to have access. So it applies both for the current subscription and also for the back files. Okay, and it's not just limited to the journals and journal back files. So even for the ebooks. Okay, so what ebooks that a particular library has procured and what ebooks a particular library may be having it on a subscription basis. Okay, so a knowledge base typically tells us what the holdings are of a particular library, and then the link resolver extensively makes use of the knowledge base to give that the service that it is able to provide us. Okay. Okay, so again, the library management system that we are familiar with will not be able to integrate the knowledge bases of a particular knowledge base of a library. Okay, so that the library can take advantage of link resolvers. And AZ listing, we know it's very important as far as the end users are concerned, and even as far as the library staff are concerned. Okay, so the AZ listing, as the name itself suggests, gives the AZ listing of all the resources that a particular institution or a particular library has subscribed to. And AZ listing itself, again, depends on the knowledge base of a particular institution. Okay. Now, these kind of service, now AZ listing is usually now we are familiar with the library discovery tools. Okay, so one of the services that the library discovery tool gives us is the AZ listing. Okay, and then again, the library discovery tool depends on the knowledge base of a particular institution. Okay, so knowledge base plays such an important role to take advantage of in terms of for discovery tools to give us the AZ listing, and for the link resolver to give us to give the end user when an end user follows a link, that he or she is sure to get access to the full text. Now, these our existing library management system will not be able to integrate these kind of services onto them. So in a way that it is not very modular, or it's not very extensible, that it's the library management system is able to handle the emerging services which have arrived, which have born basically because we are dealing with electronic content. Now, all of us, I'm sure, have heard about electronic resource management. Now, electronic resource management has its own life cycle. Now, typically, now in the existing library management system, we cannot integrate the electronic resource management life cycle. So, what has been happening now? Libraries are using an additional package, for example, Coral, for example, which is an open source software for managing the electronic resources. Okay, so apart from using the library management system, so if we have to enable link resolver, then you need to have an additional software. Okay, additional software for link resolver. Now, if the electronic resource management is predominantly be used for by the library staff. Okay, so there is very little in the electronic resource management that will be made known to the external world. Probably the usage statistics is one which could be made known to the external world through electronic resource management. So what I'm trying to convey here is that for each of the additional service that makes use of the content in the electronic format, a library needs to have an additional package or a different package to handle for the specific purpose for which such a tool has been developed. So in order to manage electronic resource management, you need to have an additional software package, Coral in this case. For example, Coral for electronic resource management. Okay. Now, electronic resource management tools helps us to manage the license agreements. Now, we know that license agreement is an important is very important when it comes to subscribing to online journals and back files or even ebooks. Okay. So if you, with the electronic resource management system like Coral, now it is possible to manage the license agreements that a library enters to with various publishers. And we can also keep track of all the changes that may take place for a particular license agreement with a specific publisher. Now, usage statistics, as we know, is very important. So typically it could be done on a quarterly basis or half-yearly basis. Okay, but it's very important as far as subscription to.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, is there any problem?
No, sir. It's
Okay.
fine.
So usage statistics management, okay, the electronic resource management system help us to manage help us to analyze the usage of online resources. And at the end of the year or at the beginning of each year, when the subscription renewals become due, so we just don't blindly renew our subscription just because we have had subscription for a particular resource in the previous year. We should not just blindly go ahead and renew our subscription. So we need to analyze the usage of the resources and then take a decision in collaboration with the library purchase committee and also depending on the heads of the departments or the divisions, depending on how the hierarchy is in a particular institution. So typically in our library, the JRD Tata Memorial Library usage, we do the usage analysis every quarter. Okay, but at the end of the towards the last quarter, okay, so which is very important for us because we spend a lot of money to the extent of about 16 to 70 crores towards the subscription of online journals and journal packages. Okay, so we just cannot renew the resources every year blindly without seeing how the existing subscriptions are being made use of. So in the last quarter, so sometime around October or November every year, so we download the previous 9 months or 10 months of usage data and then extrapolate that to the 12 months period for which the subscription is valid. And then we see how the usage has been. Okay. Now, if the usage to a particular resource is very minimal, or if the usage which the return on investment can be calculated based on the cost per PDF download. Okay. Now, if the cost per PDF download is very expensive, let's say in the order of $25 to $30 per download, then we certainly need to think about its renewal of such resources. Now, of course, there could be some resources which is used by few people, and it could be very vital for the small group of people who are using such resources. So just because the cost per download happens to be very high, it cannot be implied that such resources may not be of high value to our users. So that's the reason why we take two levels of opinion. First, we bring this to the attention of the library purchase committee, and then depending on what the library purchase committee advises us, because the library purchase committee will have representation from all the divisions. Okay, so typically in our institute there are 6 or 7 divisions, and the library committee will have representation from each of these divisions, and then we bring to the attention of the library purchase committee about the usage for a particular subscription year for all the resources. So okay, so and then some decision could be made by the library purchase committee itself. So when the purchase committee itself is not able to take a decision on the continuation of a particular resource, so we send it to the divisional chairs. Okay, and divisional chairs in turn will consult the departments and then give the feedback to us. So a couple of years ago, when there was a drastic cut in the library budget towards subscription to the extent of about 25-30%, then we had no option but to reduce our subscription during that year. So we had to rely heavily on the usage analysis to take a decision on what resources to be dropped for that particular year. So usage analysis, what I'm trying to stress upon here is usage analysis of online resources is very important, and then it has to be done periodically by the people who are running the periodicals division, who are in charge of the periodical division, and it helps the library to take a call in case if we have to drop resources for whatever reasons. And without usage analysis, it is, I mean, it will be very difficult to take a call on renewing or dropping a resource. Now, electronic resource management system provides or provisions to analyze the usage statistics, and then the process itself can be automated. Okay. Now, so as I said, we need to have an additional tool which is called as the electronic resource management system. Okay. So in order to manage the licenses, in order to analyze our usages, and then you can also manage your budget. So now typically a library will have a budget. In our library, we have a separate budget for periodicals, for journals and databases, because we need to spend a lot of money towards subscription. Okay, so you can manage your budget, okay, using electronic resource management system. And in the electronic world, okay, especially when you are handling ebooks, okay, so ebooks has its own challenges in terms of procurement. Okay, so now you can subscribe to an ebook collection, or you can procure an ebook collection, or you can do an outright ebook procurement, or you can procure ebook collection or ebook titles based on EVM, which is the evidence-based model. Okay, so in this model, what happens is a publisher will expect upfront about 20 to 25% payment of 20 to 25% of the collection cost. Okay, so library needs to pay, and then the access is made open for the entire campus for a particular year. So at the end of the year, to the extent of down payment that a library has made, so library can take a decision on what titles from the collection can be procured. Okay, so this has an advantage of ensuring that only the most utilized titles of a collection can be procured by a library. Now, in the absence of that, now if you straight away buy the entire collection, okay, now ebooks are quite very expensive. I mean, we can't compare the price of ebook collection to the print book collection. Okay, because they give campus-wide access, and then most of the ebooks are DRM free now, so they are very expensive. So it's a good idea to go on evidence-based model, so that you don't end up paying for the entire collection that may or may not be useful to user community. So you pay just a partial amount towards the ebook collection, and then at the end of the year, you analyze the usage and then take a call on what titles to procure. So the electronic resource management helps us to handle different procurement models. Okay. So again, so this is, so till now we have seen that for link resolver, we need to have an additional tool. For electronic resource management, we need to have an additional tool apart from the library management system that most of the libraries will have. Now, libraries also maintain digital repositories. Okay, now these digital repositories could be in the form of institutional repositories for managing the institutional publications, or it could be a digital repository for managing thesis and dissertations of a particular institute, of a particular institution. Okay, or this digital repository can comprise of any other digital objects that is of importance to a particular college or an institution. For example, typically engineering colleges and other types of colleges, okay, they may have newspaper clippings or question papers, okay, or project reports, okay. So you can, every institution will have their own requirements. So typically research institutions will have a publications repository, the thesis repository can be part of the either publication repository, or it can exist as a separate repository. And then you can also take a decision what type of, in the thesis repository, what type of thesis can be, at what level the thesis can be part of that repository, whether it should be at MSc level or post-graduation level or at the PhD level. So this apart, institutions can be maintaining other types of repositories. Now, what happens when you want to have, now these repositories are essential. Now, most of the institutions of higher education will have these kind of repositories. Now, what has happened now, the concept of institution repository is also almost about 20 years old now. Now, when institutions had to set up their own institutional repositories, their existing library resource management system, okay, for example, the library management system or the library resource management system, the integrated library system, was not able to cater to the needs of managing the digital repositories. So what libraries are typically doing now, they are relying on another software. So it could be DSpace, or it could be ePrints, or any other digital asset management software. Okay, so we need to have another component, okay, to manage our institutional repositories. Okay. Now again, this is another component, okay, which our integrated library management system will not be able to handle. Now, digital preservation platforms, okay, there are already of digital preservation platforms available, okay, and logs, for example, is one such an example. Okay, now our existing integrated library system will not, we will not be able to integrate the digital preservation functionality into it. So we need to have an additional layer. Okay, so in this case, we need to have a totally different component for facilitating digital preservation. Okay. So what I've tried to highlight in my previous slides is that now integrated library system has been evolving, and as I said, it has been evolving mostly to cater to the needs of print collection. Okay, now with most of the libraries expected to manage electronic resources, so there has been considerable shortcoming in the integrated library system to manage both print and electronic systems. So as I said, so there has been an evolution, and the next generation of integrated library system is referred to as the library services platform, Okay, the library services platform, it's not that we have to do away with all the functionalities of the existing library management system. That's not true. Okay, now it actually, the library services platform supplements and complements what is expected of the library, integrated library system. So the functional characteristics of a library system platform includes management of both electronic and print format. Okay, so the materials could be either in the electronic format or print format, and the library service platform will be able to manage both these formats. Okay, and it supports extensive metadata management. Okay, for all the emerging metadata management systems will be supported by the library services platform. So as I give the example of the ebooks procurement model, so we will be able to handle different types of procurement model and the associated workflows with the different procurement models. Okay, and then it will be able to handle the knowledge bases. So as I said, knowledge bases are so important that with the knowledge bases, so many additional services becomes possibility. Okay, so with the library services platform, we will be able to have manage the knowledge bases of individual libraries. Okay, and then collection analytics, okay, which is again part of the library resource management. So built-in collection analytics is so important for research libraries. So when you have a library services platform like Folio, so you have all these functionalities built into it. And then discovery. Now, what is happening now? Typically, now apart from the integrated library management system, you have link resolvers. We have the repository management software. Then we need to have another layer for digital preservation. Okay, and then another layer for electronic resource management, and then you need to have an additional component for discovery. Okay, so essentially a discovery layer, it tries to discover to all the resources that a particular library has access to. Okay, so as in when the new services are emerging, okay, based on electronic format of content, okay, now various other services are emerging. So with the emergence of each of these services, libraries are expected to invest additionally, and it's not just a financial investment. We need to also have additional manpower investment, okay, so to ensure that a library is up to the expectations of its end users by incorporating all the emerging services which are become possible because of the electronic resources. Okay. So I was talking in general about the library services platform. So I just have a few more slides where the concentration is on specifically on Folio. Okay. Now Folio is actually an acronym, okay, which expands to the future of libraries is open. Okay. So Folio is not the first software which is being referred to as the library services platform. Okay. Now there have already been several other software, especially in the commercial domain. Okay, which are the library services, which are referred to as the library services platform, and Folio is perhaps the first in the open source domain. Folio is a partnership between libraries and vendors that is developing an open source library services platform. Okay, so as we know, we know what a platform is. Okay, now when we access Science Direct or IEEE Explore. Okay, now Science Direct is a platform for NCBM. From that platform, we access journals, journal back files, books, okay, and other databases. Now, similarly, a library provides different kinds of services. Okay, now some services are managed within the library by the library staff, and other services are predominantly for the end users. Okay, now as I had concentrated on my previous slides, so with the emergence of electronic resources, library had to rely on various other emerging technologies and the related software to incorporate those services for their patrons by investing additionally. So it could be either in the open source domain or it could be in the commercial domain. Okay. So library had to invest additionally on various other tools, technologies, and many times the required technical expertise in terms of manpower. Okay. Now Folio is trying to change that perspective, or trying to change that concept. Okay. So it is acting as a platform. Okay. So so whatever library is, whatever services the library wants to provide to its users. Okay. Now a library should be able to provide all such services based on the library services platform that a library sets up. Okay. Now it could be Folio or it could be any other commercial software. Okay. Now if you have a library service platform set up for your library, then the need for the need to go in for each of the emerging technologies or services. Okay, so the library does not have to set up or additional software. Okay, being a platform, you can integrate the emerging services and technologies into your existing platform. Now it doesn't mean that all this will be free. Okay, now Folio as a software is a framework. Okay, which with which you can integrate all the other services that you want for your users. Now, all these services, it could be in the form of integrating an additional software like link resolver or a discovery layer. Okay. Now, this could be in the open source domain, or it could be a commercial software. Okay. But if you have a platform, then it's possible to integrate the other services into your platform. Folio's platform is built on the idea that library management should be flexible, modular, extensible, modern, affordable, and it's gathered a number of partners and contributors to help make that vision a reality. Okay, so as it was said in the beginning, okay, it is the different communities are involved in the development of Folio. Okay, so the community could comprise of contributors who basically developed the software component. Okay, and there could be vendors. Okay, now the vendors could provide support, technical support. Now all the libraries may not have the requisite expertise to set up a library service platform. So one has to depend on the vendors. Okay, to implement the library services platform. Okay, now out of the box, you're not going to get everything, whatever I talked about. Now I talked about link resolvers, I talked about digital asset management or digital repositories, I talked about a discovery layer, then I talked about digital preservation or the electronic resource management. Now, out of the box, you're not going to get everything. Okay, so as we see in one of my screens, one of my slides, which is coming up next. So certain things are available by default or by out of the box, but to integrate other things, we need to either it has to be developed in-house or it has to be procured. It could be in the commercial domain, or it could be integrated if some other service provider or a library has developed and is willing to share with us. Now this screenshot or these two pictures. Okay. Now on the left. Now this is a typical example for an integrated library management system, okay, wherein you have a set of modules, and each module has a certain functionality, okay, and they have been developed into a system, okay. Now it could be the acquisition module, serials module, circulation module, OPAC, okay. Okay, so all these are predetermined and built, and it is not extendable. Okay, it's not extendable. Now, this is a typical example of a library service platform, wherein the traditional functionalities that the library management system supports are also there. Okay, it's not that they are going to do away with that and develop a new framework for that. Okay, so the traditional functions are all there, and then they are supported. Then, when you want to add additional functionalities, okay, to your library resource management system, okay, the library services platform facilitates that. Okay, so it could be, as I said, it could be a discovery layer, or it could be a digital preservation system, or it could be a link resolver, or it could be our institutional repositories. Now, each of these additional requirements, which primarily depend on the electronic content, okay, so can be integrated into a library services platform. So that's the reason why it's referred to as a services platform, wherein you have the traditional functionalities of a library management system, and then each of the new component that are predominantly dependent entirely on the electronic content, those functionalities can be integrated into your library services platform. Okay. Okay, now the library services platform, they are multi-tenant, cloud-ready, built around an open knowledge base, linked data, electronic and print resource management. So what this means is that now most of the library services platform, the tools which are based on the library services platform framework, okay, they are cloud ready, in the sense they are made available on the, now most of us, we all know what software as a service on the cloud is, okay. Now all the library services platform, okay, now either you can set it up in-house in the library, or you can make use of the service that is already being provided. For example, let's take the example of Koha. Now, many of the libraries are using Koha as an integrated library system. Now, Koha could be set up in-house on a dedicated system within a library, or you can use Koha as a software as a service. Okay. Now, software as a service, what this implies is Koha is installed on the cloud by a vendor. Okay. Now, there are 50, 100, or depending on how many installation, or how many tenants that it can support. Okay, so let's take the example about 100 libraries from India, okay, are making use of Koha as software as a service on the cloud. So which means that each of these 100 libraries do not have to set up their own local instance of Koha in their premises. Okay, so instead they make use of the Koha which has been set up on the cloud, and it is being used as software as a service. Now, every time a new upgrade comes, the vendor has to upgrade one instance of Koha on the cloud. Okay, so the benefit of that upgrade is derived by all the other 100 tenants. Okay, so more and more software is being made available in the multi-tenant cloud-ready way. So which means that people just make use of the service and then pay for the service. Okay, so they don't have to worry about installing the software, upgrading the software, okay, maintaining the software, okay, or taking backup. Okay, so all those functionalities are handled by the vendor. Okay, so Folio can be used that way. Okay, now there are vendors. Okay, so who have made Folio available on the cloud, and each of us can be a tenant on the cloud. Okay, so make use of the Folio that has been set up on the cloud. Okay, and then make use of the services from the vendors. Okay, and which can manage both electronic and print resources, and also all the other requirements that are needed to provide state-of-the-art services to the end users. Okay, and the open innovation business model: no lock-in, no full migration, free availability of codes, multiple vendors. Okay, so free availability of codes. So it's a open source software. So we understand that the software code is openly available. Okay, and there are multiple vendors. Okay, now, so it's not that there's only one vendor per country, or the one vendor for the whole world to manage Folio. Okay, so there are multiple vendors, and each region will have a vendor. Okay, and we can go to any of the vendors to make use of the Folio service. Okay, and there is no lock-in. Now, when we use a commercial package, even for a library automation package, okay, there could be lock-ins. Okay, so that means when we want to get out of that software package and migrate to a different package, it cannot be very straightforward. Okay, so when the situation demands, when the situation has arrived for us to move from the commercial to open source, only when that situation arises, we will know that there will be some bottlenecks, there will be some issues, there will be some lock-ins. So we have to again sometimes we may have to get into force the service providers to facilitate easy way to export data, and then to import that into the new system. Okay, so such a scenario won't arise when we use an open source software, and especially when we use an open source software like Folio, which is a library service platform. Okay, and then the full migration, you need not migrate. Now suppose, let's assume that you're using a commercial software today for your library management system. Okay, or you could be using Koha itself, which is an open source software as your library management system. So when you decide that why not we change to Folio, because it's a library services platform, and then it is able to handle both electronic and print content. Okay, so you need not migrate entirely from your existing Koha to Folio. Okay, so you can do it in a phased manner. Okay, so first you migrate whatever is supported out of the box by Folio, and then sorry, and then as and when you are ready, okay, to incorporate new things into Folio, okay, which is not being supported by Koha, so you can do it in a phased manner, and there's no compulsion that the migration has to be done in one shot. Okay, so it is microservices architecture based. Okay, so customizable, of course. If we have the technical expertise, we can customize because the source code is available. And then, as I said, we can choose whatever modules that are relevant to our library. Okay, so again, it depends on the size of the library and the type of the library. Now, all types of libraries are not expected to provide the different types of services that I talked about in the context of electronic resources. Now, yours may be a public library, or yours may be a college library, and you may not have the need to have a discovery layer, or you may not have the need to have a link resolver. That's well and good. Okay, so you don't have to opt for everything that the Folio supports. So whatever is relevant to your institution and to your end users, so those things you can pick and choose, and then facilitate that through Folio by way of using appropriate applications or apps as they are referred to. So as I said, these apps that you intend to integrate, okay, so it could be a link resolver, or it could be an institutional repository software, or it could be a digital preservation software, or it could be a discovery layer. As I've been stressing, now these additional functionalities may not be available out of the box through Folio. Okay, so these apps, additional apps, have to be integrated with Folio, and these apps could be commercial or it could be open source. Okay, it could be either way. So it uses Apache license. Okay, so there's no restriction on sharing the source code or making the modification and redistributing. So we have the full freedom because it's based on the Apache license. Okay, and being developed as a community project. Okay, so as I said, a lot of vendors, companies, and library community are part of this development project. Okay, so there are experts from different domains though, which can be made use of at the time of setting up a folio for a particular library. And as I've been stressing, so it's modular in nature, so we can integrate various applications that are needed as per the needs of a particular library. So yeah, this is what I've been saying. So being an open source software, now we should not, I mean, we should have an open mind. So it doesn't mean that whatever is needed by a particular library, everything is available out of the box, and that a library need not spend anything extra in order to provide services based on the resources that a particular library holds. Now the common understanding is that when we install an open source software like Koha, and if it has been set up locally on a system which is on the premises of a library, that there is no additional investment required. Okay, so if you have the requisite manpower and technical expertise, okay, so all the library functionalities, okay, that an integrated library management system is expected to provide, okay, so it's available out of the box. Okay, and then we don't need to spend anything more on the library management system. But that is not true in the case of a library services platform like Folio. Okay, now with Folio, some applications are available out of the box, and for additional applications that are to be integrated with Folio, so we need to depend on other vendors or other developers. Okay, so it could be, most probably it could be that app, we need to pay for that app in order that app can be integrated with our Folio system. Okay, now as I said, I've not had a chance to use Folio or set up Folio. Okay, so I've just seen a brief demo of Folio. Okay, and then my understanding was this: some apps are available out of the box. For example, the circulation module is available, cataloging is available, user management is available, and then resource management is available, acquisition is available, and operations manager is available. So I really don't have extensive idea about any of these apps as part of the Folio, because I've just seen, as I said, only a brief demo of the Folio. Okay, now when we need to have additional functionalities with our library services platform, for example, we need to have a knowledge base, let's say. Okay, knowledge base is again made use by the library link resolvers or to facilitate AZ listing. Okay, so other tools which depend on the knowledge base. Okay, now if you want to have that, or if you want to have an opaque, okay, or a a discovery layer or a union catalog. Okay, now those functionalities are not available out of the box. Okay, so we may have to buy or procure applications relevant to opaque or knowledge base, so that our folio setup has that functionality. Okay, now if you want to integrate our digital repositories, okay, now out of the box it's not available. Okay, then for long-term preservation there's no app available out of the box. Okay, now then other electronic resource management, I was talking about Coral, okay, which is an open source electronic resource management system. Okay, now there is no out of the box functionality for electronic resource management from Folio. Okay, so there are some apps which are available out of the box, and then when we need to extend Folio with additional layers of services that we intend to provide to our end users, then we may have to buy those services in the form of the corresponding applications. So here I've listed few vendors. Okay, now these vendors and products. Okay, so there's a product called World Share Management Solution by OCLC. Okay, which is again based on the library services platform, and there is a product called Alma by Exlibris, then Sierra by Innovative Interfaces, then Intota by ProQuest. Now all these are commercial products. Okay, and then Folio, of course, I think is probably the first open source software being developed as a library services platform, in which EBSCO has taken the lead. Okay, and then as been said in the beginning, so a lot of it's a community project. So a lot of companies, vendors, and libraries are part of the Folio project. Okay, so these are the few references that I have made use of to create this set of slides. And then, so you can always refer to this and to get a better idea of what a folio or what a library services platform is. So that's it I have, and thank you for listening. So you're welcome for posing your questions, please.
We request any questions from the participants, please.
Can I unshare my this thing?
Yes, Dr. Francis.
Any questions?
Yeah, you can answer it. Yeah.
No questions, I think. Any doubt or question from the participants?
Francis, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Do you have an idea
Yes.
of EBSCO being developed, promoting folio in India? Do you have any idea about the EBSCO, how they are doing?
My understanding, I mean, I may not be giving you the exact kind of answer that you are expecting, but my understanding is that they have identified a few vendors worldwide. They have already in other continents. They have already identified vendors on whom a library can depend on to get the technical expertise. Now, to me, it appears that it's not going to be very straightforward. Now, Koha has become so popular because people are able to set it up locally and then migrate their existing LMS to Koha and that they are able to do it by themselves. Okay, and there are of course service providers who help us, who help the libraries to migrate from their existing setup of IL library management system to Koha. But I've come across a number of libraries, both small, mid-size, and large libraries, who are able to migrate from their existing integrated library system to Koha, and they are able to do that very successfully, and then able to sustain. But the same cannot be true when it comes to Folio. So people who are already using, let's say, Koha, and then would like to migrate to Folio, or they're using any other commercial or other open source software and would like to migrate to Folio, then they may or may not be able to migrate the ease with which they were able to do when it comes to Koha. So that's the reason why the IBSCO, keeping that in mind, is identifying vendors who libraries can rely upon to take the services. And then again, when you go to this service providers, I mean, there's a cost involved in that. So when a library intends to migrate to Folio, and my reading is that large number of libraries will not be able to do it by themselves. They will have to depend on external service providers, which IBSCO is helping the libraries to make use of. And yeah, that is one aspect where IBSCO is playing its role.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatt.
So I'm sorry again for the initial glitches with audio and video. So how many more sessions are there?
No, Dr. Bhatt, yours is the last session.
Oh, actually, okay, fine.
Mr. Sawant? Rajeshri?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, you may acknowledge.
I will conclude now. Extensible supporting traditional resource management library platform, Folio have ability to deliver new services. Sir, you have elaborated library services, platform, and characteristic in details. Thank you for that. Yes, it will help to change the traditional system with the Folio library system. With this, I will like to express sincere thanks to Dr. Francis Jaykant for giving an excellent coverage to the Folio library service platform. Thank you for accepting our invitation for delivering the expert talk. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you, Dr. Sawant and Dr. Pujar, for the opportunity. I hope I was able to give some understanding to the listeners as to what a library services platform is.
Yes, you are done that. It's really great to know about it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. It was really informative. Thank you very much for that, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
In concluding, principal of Sardar Patel College and Reva Engineering College, Reva, TEQIP coordinator of Sardar Patel College of Engineering and Reva College, our advisory committee members, Dr. Pujar, Dr. Satish Munoli, Dr. Sadadan Mansode, and I'll specially thanks for the Dr. Pujar sir for heartily helping us to organize this webinar. Last but not least, our technical support staff, Ms. Lakshmi Kashmiri and Swapnil Jogre. I'll heartily thanks all of the members who have supported off and on the screen. With this, I will conclude the webinar, and for the participant, I would like to mention that they are requested to fill up their feedback form and till 30th of the December, and we will try to post or email the e-certificate by second week of January. Thank you very much.